So, so I wouldn't say that, saying that you dislike this game, I would not claim that being a dick. Not at all. It doesn't hurt my feelings, and I don't think you're meaning to hurt my feelings. Borderline faced first Izaro room. Nice. Banana Waffle Monkey. I think there's a character flaw in people who play these types of games. Well, I mean, we all have character flaws, but I mean, flaws are a matter of opinion, right? So I would, and that's the type of language I'm trying to change in myself, right? Because I don't agree that a character can have a flaw, like in the objective reality sense. There's no objective morality that says about a character flaw this or that. It's all subjective. Conjecture, no? Subjective perspective. Like it's an ought, right? People ought not play these games. You can't derive an ought from an is. So there is no is in that sentence, right? Like if you do something and don't know it is rude, you're not necessarily a dick. I agree with that, Colgate in and tap. If you do that after being informed about being rude, then you are the dick. Exactly. And then it becomes all about the intent. Node Runner says, I think you can objectively define a flaw. Oh? Oh man. This is hyping me up. That means we have a disagreement. I do love me some disagreements. So how do you objectively define a flaw? And we're talking about a character flaw, right? Like objective character flaw, like in personality types? Is that what we're looking for? We need to be sure that we're talking about the same stuff here. Like, this is a game about zombies, the zombie apocalypse. Banana Waffle Monkey says, oh, this music is way too stressful. I need to move past this. Treatise on the objective versus subjective nature of dicks as pertained to postmodern ethical theories. Nice. Is how I would market this conversation, and I love it. Yeah, I really did love that. Postmodern ethical theories. Nature of dicks. But at least she was dead and not walking around in broad daylight with her face torn apart. Yeah, that's fucked up. And she wasn't calling me by name, even if it wasn't my own name. The last ounces of my strength deserted me, and I collapsed to my knees. What? Where? Calm down a little bit, the music. Masha was shaking me by the shoulders. It wasn't her, that was... I don't know. Get a hold of yourself, said Masha. I felt a round arm slap hit me in the face, and I gave Masha a questioning look. I don't... Man, I need new glasses. I don't see... The gasm. Oh, it's a gasm icon. Felt round arm slap hit me in the face. My cheek burned, but I slowly started to regain composure. There we go. Oleana was there. With her face. Oh, regaining composure. That's the thing. But like Node Runner, I would say for sure that you can't really objectively define a flaw, because a flaw is inherently subjective. Banana Waffle Mug says, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even know who that streamer is, but I have those emotes, and this is a relevant interaction. And this is a relevant interactive novel to use them for. Yes, indeed it is. Donsgasm. It can I make them bigger by just pressing these buttons? I can. Instead of getting new glasses, I can just make them bigger. Now I can see them. Oh man, why haven't I thought about that before? That's a little bit too big though. There we go, that's way better. Basically, it was a zombie, yeah. Zombie Uliana. That's the most rational explanation I can give. It was a zombie indeed. Masha looked at me dumbfounded. Waffle Monkey. I thought you were talking about Uliana before I realized you meant the emotes, yeah. What did I say about the emotes? That Uliana was a gasm? Wait, no. Uliana is not here though, right? No? She was gone after her little moment. I can make them bigger by clicking on them. Well, I'm calling the FBI, but that does work. Have you tried that? Clicking on them? They become bigger. Like if you click close to the middle. Like around this area here. They become bigger. Anything can happen here, says Masha. And I answered, if you'd seen her yourself. Thank God I didn't. Come on, I'll get you some water. I described my encounter with that creature in detail to everyone. I can tell you one thing. Science can't explain what's going on here at the moment. Well, I mean... if something... like the whole point of science is explain what's going on, right? I would say that they probably can't use the scientific methods to explain what's going on right now, and science doesn't have like a current explanation of how this would happen. But if we did get to study it enough with a proper scientific methodology, we could explain, we could generate an explanation of what was going on, right? That's the whole point of science. We generate a good as explanation as we can with the tools and the empirical knowledge that we have, a pragmatic one preferably. And then we say this is the current explanation until we get a better one. Nodrunner says, I don't mean a flaw as in good or bad, subjective quality. I mean a fact about an imperfection. But again, imperfection is a subjective, like what is perfect, that is your perspective, right? Like a missing chunk of a ceramic plate, yeah. That imperfection is only a perfection in the mind's eye of a person. The ceramic plate itself doesn't have any feelings about imperfection or perfection. Like, the word perfect itself is a subjective word. It is subjective that the plate is better or worse, yeah, but it is an objective fact that it is flawed from its whole state. No, it's just one state or another state. There is no flaws in there. Or am I misunderstanding here? I think I am misunderstanding something. Banana Waffle Monkey always viewed science as the process, not the result. Exactly. Isn't that the point of science? It is like a method, a process. But he said at the moment. Oh yeah, there he is. He says at the moment. I misread that. I put the emphasis differently than you did, Colgate in on tap. Good looking out. Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, but what if you like the way the plate looks with the chunk missing? Yeah, like if you like the aesthetics. In humans, a flaw is destructive. Like being a drug addict or beating your wife. Yeah, some people would view drug addiction or wife beating as destructive, and like some people would probably see it as constructive. Or like there are many artists that are drug addicts where they made their best music or art while doing drugs. And maybe a wife beater considers what he's doing is just simple behaviorism, making life better for me and her because I know better, right? Most people would say that's bad, and most people, but I think there's some objective quality there that people with these flaws are objectively ruining their lives. Well, I mean, a lot of drug addicts have, I would argue that becoming a drug addict is a consequence, of a ruined life rather than it becomes worse, yeah, but beating your wife, I'm guessing there are a lot of wife beaters who are quite content and happy with their lives. It's the wives that are suffering. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not a violent person, but I could imagine that such a people would exist. Banana Waffle Monkey says, science can't explain whatever is going on here at the moment. I think at the moment is joined with whatever is going on here, not science can't explain. Yeah. Science can't explain what's going on here at the moment. What's going on here at the moment? Can't explain. Or science can't at the moment. It's like, it's up to interpretation, right? Another interpretation. It's whatever we feel like. Another way to view that, yeah. There's no commas here. There's no going on here at the moment. Yeah, it's different ways to see it. I think that the current sentence is not the same as at the moment. Science can't explain whatever is going on here. Maybe English is not my forte, says Colgate in on tap. Yeah, it's... Yeah. It's different. Like, it's not my native language either. I would say that both interpretation would be possible value. But actually, I'm all for the charitable principle. And if we're doing a charitable interpretation, it's like we have seen language issues with the novel, right? Before. So the best possible interpretation would be the one, from my point of view, would be the one that Colgate In on Tap made. So I'm gonna go with that interpretation, even though it's maybe grammatically worse and may not, but that's a charitable interpretation. Banana Waffle Monkey says, thanks for notifying me that Cider McDread has went live just now, Twitch. Oh, very nice of you, Twitch, to notify Banana Waffle Monkey about that. It was a little time ago I went live, but I don't know. Let's see again. I felt that oh, here we go. Nodrunner says, what would you call an objective change in a state towards destruction or away from perfection? I would call it a flaw. I would say that there are no objective changes towards destruction away from perfection. I would say that both destruction and perfection are human constructs. There are human ideas about a thing. Like, I don't think that there is a God or like nature has intention. But what's that called? The thermodynamics thing where everything spreads out. Everything spreads out. What's it called? Entropy. Like, entropy would, in a human mind, be considered destruction, right? While in a mathematical sense, like another perspective of entropy where everything just flattens out, being completely like nothing interacting with each other, just blank. That could be considered perfection from another point of view. So perfection and destruction can be the same thing, right? So I would say that objective change in state cannot be like, it's not towards destruction or perfection, it just is. Just changes that way or that other way. Calling it destruction or perfection is a human construct, if that makes sense, Node Runner. Banana Waffle Monkey killed Izaro. Nice. It was level 59 and Izaro was level 68 and Izaro just died. Nice. Oh man, now I missed context again. Hindus wouldn't. What wouldn't Hindus do, Banana Waffle Monkey? I'm sorry. Colgate in on tab says, I think I would get a better idea about the meaning of that sentence if I saw the original Russian sentence. Well, even with Colgate in on tab, even with the original Russian sentence, I would argue for the charitable interpretation. That if it's possible to interpret something two different ways, even if one would be more grammatical or less more grammatical, similar to other grammatics, I would still argue for doing the interpretation that points the speaker, or in this case the author, in the best possible way you can interpret it. Banana Waffle Monkey says, I believe chemistry defines entropy as the amount of states something can take. No, entropy is a tendency for everything to fall apart. Like if you have, like if you take a room and you have one room being super hot and the other one is cold, it will spread out and get an even temperature all over the room. That's entropy, right? I'm not a chemist. I believe Hindus view destruction as equally valuable as creation. There we go. Human construct. I think Shiva is the name of the god. Oh, the god of destruction and creation. He's the one with all the arms. I've seen her in Final Fantasy many times. Or maybe Vishnu. I forgot, says Banana Waffle Monkey. There's a triumvirate. There are quite a few number of Hindu gods. I haven't read up on them for a long while. Science? It's outrageous devilry happening here. The hand of Satan, says Alisa. Well, I wish we had a church nearby to light a candle, said Alisa. Yeah, that'll help, lighting a candle. Good luck with that. Lena said nothing, resorting to quiet sobbing. I'd almost completely recovered, and now I think was able to think straight. Actually, I need to apologize about that. It's my being mean about religious people again, so if anyone's religious, my apologies. Lighting a candle would probably help to calm Alisa's nerves. So, that was rude of me, being a dick and all that. Banana Waffle Monkey says, I kinda wanna try Uberlab. Ooh, that sounds rough. I'll wait on that for a bit though. Seems like a good idea. Node Runner says, so if you have had an impure sample of... Oh, I like that word in the context of what you're saying here. Because impurities are... Yeah. Now we're talking chemistry lingo. I know a little bit about it, so I know what that word means. So if you had an impure sample of some chemical, would it be a human construct that it's impure? No, that's a fact. Ah, there we go. There's our disagreement. I would say that the impurement is a fact, yes. Like it's chemical lingo, right? It's where you have a lot of something and then there's something that doesn't fit in. So in that type, what was it, a plate with a chip in it? That would be an impure plate, right? Because it's it has a crack or a hole in it that is doesn't fit with our definition of what a plate is. So there is an impurity towards the plate. I get where you're going with this, Node Runner. Still, you're calling it flawed. Then we come to an argument of semantics, right? Impurity, I would say there are no, subject, like you say, it's a fact. So whether something is pure or impure, there are no good or bad thoughts about that itself. And that is probably the semantics that I take issue with, because for me, the word flawed, inherently in the definition of that word, it contains a subjective view, a stance that an impure plate, if we call it that, with a crack in it, that it is bad. Like, for me, that is the interpretation of flawed. If you don't agree with that interpretation of the word flawed or semantic definition or something like that, then it's just a misunderstanding, this whole conversation, which is sad, because I kind of wanted us to continue disagreeing. I love disagreeing because it leads to more knowledge. Kind of seems more of an misunderstanding, though, rather than anything else. Because like when we're talking about flawed human beings, like when we did it early on, it was like a human being can't be, like, we can talk about the chemical impurities. I don't know, it becomes super difficult talking about impurities within human chemicals or chemistry. I don't know. Oh, Banana Waffle Monkey says, holy shit, I got a useful helmet enchant. I did not see that coming. That never happens. It is impure for the specific given context. Yeah, there we go. And that's oftentimes when I get misunderstanding, it is like that. I often like singular interpretations of words, and that's a character flaw within me. Look at that. Got steel skin can take 30% increased damage on my helmet enchant from lab. Oh, congratulations. Misunderstanding helps with learning to communicate better. Yeah, they can. If you explore them in a productive manner. Misunderstandings can also help to people being angry with one another. Right. If you have that predilection, I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. I went through multiple classes solely on how to Banana Waffle Monkey says that he's went through multiple classes solely on how to use KHP. To standardize NaOH samples before titrating. Oh my god, he's talking chemistry. Now I understand. When we were talking about natrium hydroxide, that NaOH. I don't know any chemistry like that. Multiple classes. No. Now it is perfectly clear that we have to get out of here. Is it perfectly clear? How much food do you have? Router says, well, I'm not a real scientist, let alone a paranormalist. But if I recall it correctly, all these demons and spirits are bound to a certain place. Therefore, if we get away from this place, says Router, some nice logic. Like you go with what you know, eh? Natrium or sodium hydroxide, yeah. So I have no idea what that is, though. It is considered deliquescent, which means it reacts with air to a sort of puddle in on itself over time, and that messes with your calculations if you don't account for it. Holy shit, Banana Waffle Monkey here again with knowledge about everything. This also goes... I'm guessing that it's like it reacts and screws... Yeah, it screws up your... No, I kind of understand what you're saying there. I don't know if you've seen Nile Red on YouTube, I think he's called. It's a chemist who does just random shit on YouTube with chemistry. It's super fun. He made some hooch from toilet paper once, for example. Just alcohol from toilet paper, and he drank it. It was kind of funny. So within that specific context, you have to account for impurity. Ah, there we go. And that's what he's getting at. Exactly. And that's, if I understood Node Runner's example correctly, in his context, the chip in the plate could be considered an impurity, right? A flaw. It's like he's using those words interchangeably. Was it good, says Node Runner? I need to know. I mean, I didn't taste it. I just saw him watch on YouTube. He didn't like it. It was just hooch. I don't remember. I don't think it was good. But it's super interesting. And he did clean it out of a lot of impurities. Like, there we go. It was his subjective idea. Like, I need to, for my goals, I need to remove the impurities. But the impurities only become bad from his perspective. Just like... the flaw in the plate only becomes bad from our perspective. Banana Waffle Monkey says, but if you want to fuck around with a puddly solid and push it in, then it would be the opposite of an impurity. Wait, no. In chemistry, wouldn't it be an impurity still? It's just you would like the impurity to stay, right? You would utilize the impurity. I don't understand the chemistry of what's going on here, but like if you have like a pure, like you can have pure H2O, pure water, then there's nothing in it. But like that's not what we get from the tap. When we drink water, we get like a lot of impurities with minerals and whatnot. But we do want those minerals and whatnot because they're good for us, healthy. Like, but there's still impurities from the pure H2O, no? It's an impurity if you're supposed to be doing calculations that rely on your substance being only that one substance. But imagine you're just fucking around with chemicals because it's fun and you're not doing any calculations. Well, in chemical language, like science language, oh, but it is the context that decides whether it is impure or not. Oh, I thought purity was like an actual term for what's going on chemically. Like if it's only this one molecule over and over and over again, or do we have a lot of other molecules around in the place? But again, I'm not a chemist. It's the context that decides whether it's pure or not. Banana Waffle Monkey says, actually, I think carats for gold are rating of purity. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Ratio between copper and gold. Yeah, how pure can you get? And I get that from that YouTube guy I was talking about earlier, because he's talking about purity all the time. Like, he's cleaning out impurities, and he's taking out all the molecules that he doesn't want, like from the chemical composition that he wants, right? There's a lot of stuff in there that he doesn't want, and then he removes the impurities. Or he leaves them in. Think anyway. So if your definition of a flaw is similar to that, then I would agree with Node Runner, right? I don't even know how we got into that. Like we were talking about people and ethical... Yeah, people though. We can't really talk about... If that is your definition of flaws, then you can't really talk about flawed humans, right? Then you need another definition of the word flaw. And then I would go back to my way. Then you might as well call the thing on the plate an impurity. And then talk about flaws with the subjective perspective, the value judgments, right? If you want to talk about flawed human beings, it might be a good idea to have one word for the one thing and another word for the other thing. Maybe? I don't know. Now, that's an excellent solution, says Masha. And grinned skeptically. Oh, I agree, I said. I exclaimed, ignoring her. Oh, she was... Yeah, says Elisa. And I just gave a barely noticeable nod. So, it's all settled. I slammed my fist on the table and surged to my feet. Hold on. It's not like we all agreed on that. Why would we hesitate? I seriously wouldn't want a second encounter with a thing like that. Where will we go? Do you even realize how long it will take to reach the city on foot, says Masha. Damn it, do you really think that nobody ever rides on that road? A bus, a car, whatever. We'll get something eventually. We just need to get out. Yeah, fleeing. And oh man. It's like we have this saying in Swedish. Oh man, what's it in English? Bättre fly än illa fäkta. We say it's better to flee than to... What's that, fighting with swords? Being bad at fighting. So if you can't take the fight, and if you don't know what to fight, you can't take a good fight, right? Because you don't know what's going on. So it's better to just flee. One type of fleeing is like if they have enough food, they could barricade as well, I suppose. They don't know what will happen. So much unknowns. We don't know what will happen. Like the author has just showed us, like he can decide to do whatever the fuck. Like consistency in this world? No, thank you. Damn it! Do you really think that nobody ever rides that? Oh, right. No, we already read that. I wouldn't be so sure, said Rooter. So you think it's better to stay here? I asked. Well, I didn't say that, Rooter said. It's scary here, especially at night, said Lena. Like all three of them are talking about how scary it was, but all of three of them were skulking around in the middle of the night. That was super weird. Lena whispered quietly. Masha said, that still doesn't mean that we have to go anywhere. Out loud, I gave her a narrow look. No, something has surely changed in her. Oh? Perhaps I should have a gentle talk with her about it. Or perhaps I shouldn't. I mean, we don't know, right? The me person is not very trustworthy. He claims that she has changed, but we don't know what she was like before. So we don't know... Because she seems like... Doesn't seem... I mean, I can't say. I can't talk to it. I mean, I can't trust the narrator. I don't know what's going on. It's annoying. It's annoying. Alternative to skulking around was being alone. Well, they could have just walked up and knocked on the door. Right? If they didn't want to be alone, they could have just walked up. Hey, can I come in? You know? Maybe she's also... Okay, let's take a vote, I said. In a quite confident tone, yet I still had my doubts. Colgate on Tab says, I guess. But then again, they are in shock, like a friend got murdered, and well, they think a friend got murdered. A friend got ripped apart, quite literally. And people started disappearing. So, people in shock, asking them to act rationally is... I mean, dumb is a harsh word for it, but... like, thinking that they would act rationally doesn't make any sense. What if Masha is right? Perhaps we shouldn't be running around aimlessly. On the one hand, I have no idea what awaits us beyond the gates of this camp. On the other, it's really all hell breaking loose in here. Okay, says Masha. She shrugged. And still, I won't stand for another minute here. I said, leaving. Masha says, stay in. Let's try it. Maybe we'll indeed get lucky and catch a ride, said Alisa. Leaving, says Ruther. Everyone turned their eyes towards Lena. I don't want to stay here. Seems like my decision wasn't going to affect the outcome anyway. So let's get going. Suddenly, denouement. That's a new word for me. Denouement? Oh, I can't even figure out what it means. I would have guessed new is like nuovo, like something new, but D means not, right? There we go. Literally translated, it means untying or unraveling. So what is unraveling? Well, this whole world is unraveling, I suppose. In literature, that is when everything gets explained that didn't make sense before. But we haven't got that yet. Like we have had no explanations. You're just waiting for that moment. No, that won't happen until the next ending. This will just be an ending where, I mean, some of them might, zombie apocalypse ending, it kind of feels like some people die and we won't wake up as Semyon, that's for sure. Maybe it's just ends like a mystery, you know? Like all those, maybe we're still in our time, well, the narrator's time, like current times, modern times, all of them went mad and disappeared. Because there's something weird with this place. And that's just the ending. They just keep on living their lives, having been through this, never getting an explanation. That is what I think. I think probably all three of these will die, and me and Masha will go back and we'll just live with it the rest of our lives. That's my guess. And then the next ending will get the denouement. Denouement? Early 2000s. Not quite current time. Yeah, early 2000s. It's compared to the pioneer camps things, I guess. Since we've decided, Masha got up and slowly looked at me. What about our stuff, said Alisa. The denouement. Oh, it's French. Denouement. Denouement. Maybe even is how he learned to say it, Banana Waffle Monkey. Denouement. Asked Alisa awkwardly. Do you really think that we should care now, says Ruther. Well, I mean, bring tools and food at least. Maybe some extra clothes. Just, and necessities. Maybe some hygiene if they get stuck in the woods for days and days. Well, you're probably right. some stuff from the infirmary as well. Well, in my case, my stuff has already vanished somewhere. Simeon's time is about as far in past to us. Right. Simeon's time is about as far in the past to us than the Soviet camp is to Simeon. Oh, that's a valid point. That's mid-80s. Denouement, says Banana Waffle Monkey, if you want IPA, courtesy of Wikipedia. So it is French. Well, French in origin, I guess. Yeah, says Banana Waffle Monkey. In a few minutes we were standing at the bus stop. The city is that way, said Masha, gestured at the horizon. Wait. No, they would know, sorry. They didn't get teleported. I got confused. They did not get teleported. They all should know, well, if they weren't asleep when the bus arrived. It was there the day before yesterday, I grinned. Yeah, that way, said Rooter, confirmed. We paused in silence for a few moments and then slowly headed off towards our destination. The summer sun was unbearably scorching, making the asphalt melt. But every few hundred feet, the road, the trees, the grass, the sky was melting in a bright heat haze. It looked more like a burning fog. Yeah. I was steaming with sweat and I was starting to think that I was getting sunstroke. Ooh. That sucks. I've had that once. Sunstroke. Holy shit. It knocked me out for like hours. Sure, it would have been a great idea to bring more water with us, but back then, when we were setting up... Wait. But back when we were setting, only things we could think of was getting our asses as far as possible from the damned camp. They didn't even bring water? Oh man. Oh man, this is exciting. Banana Waffle Monkey says, fuck it, I'm going for Uber Lab. What level are you now? 60? 61? I'm going for Uber Lab. Uber Lab is like 75, I think. That's crazy. Crazy, I tell you. 15 under. Yeah. They also forgot water in Alisa's ending, says Colgate in on tap. Did they? I don't remember that. Maybe they did. But since he faced the level 68 lab and now that he has a plus 160% crit chance from the 4 minimum power charges, yeah. Valid point. Exciting stuff. Eventually, I felt like I was about to lose consciousness. Only the wretched trills of the grasshoppers kept me in touch with reality. Of course, this hellish noon is indeed their favorite part of the day. Oh man, I was about to have lunch 20 minutes ago. They couldn't care less about the scorching heat, zero humidity, or the lack of any kind of air movement. Wait, what? Scorching heat? Zero humidity? And scorching heat becomes worse the higher the humidity is. Like, if it's less humidity, then it's not that bad. Right? Like, you start sweating the more humidity there is in... Like, all of you get moist in the humidity. Well, if it's dry out, it's just your own sweat, a little bit of it, right? Colgate on tap says, although they found a bus quickly and it was night, so it really didn't matter. Banana Waffle Monkey says, everything is taking out my health almost instantly. Oh, wow. The only thing saving me is I blow it all up before it can attack. Ah. Kill them before they kill you. The best defense is a good offense. Ah. Oh, Banana Waffle Monkey says, this is where the difference between heat and temperature matters. I had no idea. I thought heat was just like a perspective thing, that when it's super hot from my perspective, well, temperature is just like Kelvin, Fahrenheit, Celsius, with just like a measurement, right? Colgate Innotab says physics. Yeah, like temperature with physics measurements. So what is heat then? Heat is the amount of... Oh! I had no idea. Heat is the amount of enthalpy. Don't know what that is. Temperature is the average kinetic energy. Here we go. So... Oh man. That's quite interesting that they have those types of words. Like, do we have any specific words for qualia? What's it called? The feeling of it. Warm. Is that it? Very warm. Hot. There we go. Hot. No, but hot comes from heat. Wait, enthalpy might be slightly different. Amount of enthalpy. I don't know what that is. Kinetic energy I know about. What is just how it feels on your skin regardless of heat and temperature. Yeah. That was my interpretation of heat, but actually that is interesting enough to warrant in thermodynamics, yeah. Heat is energy in transfer to or from a thermodynamic system by mechanisms other than thermodynamic work or transfer of matter. In thermodynamics, work performed by a system is energy transferred by the system to its surrounding, by a mechanism through which the system can spontaneously exert macroscopic forces on its surroundings. Transfer of matter, I mean, that's one way to move heat, I suppose. Heat is energy in transfer to or from a system. So one could, I mean, I would understand why one would use this terminology in like the subjective way, how it feels, because how it feels from the moving from the outside to your skin and into you, like the energy moving from the outside into you, it feels hot, right? That's the heat thing. Maybe? I don't know. Roof first, it's our chamber. Seems like it's gonna work. I mean, the traps are no more different than usual, I guess, in this situation. Just dangerous to get one shot, I suppose. On the contrary, they felt great. It was a perfect backdrop. Wait. Oh yeah, the crickets, grasshoppers, whatever he's talking about. It was a perfect backdrop for the final act of their last apocalyptic symphony. The final act, eh? Yeah. Well, it makes sense that he thinks in those terms when he's being an author, a script writer. So he's not really breaking the fourth wall, it's just he's this person is an author, so he thinks in those terms. I get that. Yeah, that's what I meant. Banana Waffle Monkey says traps don't scale with zone. They're proportional, yeah. Percentage based, yeah. So they're actually the least of his worries. That's my point. Like, they're as dangerous as usual, right? There's no difference. Traps are always equally dangerous. Well, I mean, you can get life regen, I guess, is the way to counter traps with the build, getting a lot of life regen. We probably should have stayed in the camp after all. Or at least we should have started this hike later, closer to the evening. Although wandering the unknown country road at night is hardly a good idea either. The sound of a stifled cry came from behind me. Banana Waffle Monkey also has Mind Over Magic, so mana regen is effective health points regen for him. Yeah. Ooh, Mind of Matter, that's nice. Yeah, with totems that works out, right? Get enough regen, it's like, yeah, you might not be able to attack continuously, but you can another totem and another totem. Ah, that's nice. 100 feet away. 100 feet, oh, they just... Oh, Lisa was barely holding up Lena, keeping her from collapsing to the ground. Oof. I dashed up to them. What's the matter? She fainted, said Alisa. I helped to carry Lena to the roadside. There was at least some shade from a small grove. Nice. And that concludes our hike, says Masha, in a gloomy mood, sinking down to the grass. Banana Waffle Monkey also doesn't use any auras or heralds. But you have your full mana thing? Mana pool? How come? Don't they buff totems? I warned you, he said. Fine, but what does it change now? We'd been traveling for at least a couple of hours. So thinking of heading back to camp was pointless. That's actually a good spot to save and go to lunch. Way too late today. Way too late. Almost the exact same picture, just different backdrops. Banana Waffle Monkey says in part of the Mind Over Magic, in part because of a unique jewel called Clear Mind, right? Which gives increased damage and regen when you don't have any mana reserved. Alright. Build around having a big mana pool and using that as free health, I guess. Yeah, free health. Like using it for defense rather than offense. That makes sense. So, thanks for hanging out today. It was a bit longer. We had a couple of very interesting discussions. Yeah. Learning about... There's been a lot of chemistry today. Banana Waffle Monkey had... Oh, right, I forget you did study chemistry. I always think about you studying teacher and to become a teacher and English, like literature and stuff like that, but your minor is chemistry. Yeah, you have majors and minors. Forget. Yeah, chemistry is interesting. But yeah, cheers for today and see you tomorrow maybe.